Okay, welcome to Carnivore Talk. And this is, if you've been watching this every Monday for the past several weeks, this is a round table type discussion where you are cordially invited to be here on the screen as a guest, and we can interact and go over these questions together. And we're going to bring Meathead to the screen. How are you doing today?
Running late, brother. Running late, but I'm doing
That's okay.
great.
That's okay. Glad you're here. So yes, so you too can join Meathead and I on the screen. All you have to do is visit carnivoretalk.com and register there. And the link is over in a private member section. And in fact, you know what? How about for today? I'm even going to post the link too. So I'll put that in the chat. So if you'd like to join us on screen, you're more than welcome to. There's the link. And today we're going to discuss frequently asked questions about the carnivore diet. And if you don't want to join us on screen, then join us in the chat because we certainly love reading your comments and interacting with you as well. That definitely makes our evening enjoyable. We would like to say that Jeff, known as Geezy, is not with us tonight. He had a death in the family, and those arrangements to memorialize that person is taking place this evening, so he was unable to make it. So keep Jeff and his family in your thoughts and prayers tonight as the evening goes on.
Thank you, Bob.
And I see Papa Carnivore in the chat. It's glad to have you here. Welcome. And so yeah, also I want to say thanks for everyone who submitted questions. So we've curated questions from various locations, from the voicemails that we get from the carnivoretalk.com community, and from comments on our YouTube videos. And we've also thrown in some very basic ones because this is frequently asked questions. So we're going to talk about frequently asked questions. We have 21 questions in total.
Wow.
And so it's very possible, and probably more than likely, that we'll get to some of them this week. And next Monday will probably be a continuation where we'll address even more of those. And so Papa Carnivore says, actually, I should put these up on the screen here. So first he says he's here. Then we have, I noticed you were on Dr. Kilt's 5:30 stream. Coach Lisa is awesome. Yes, she is. Yeah, I did get on that stream today, and I should have spoke up. We had the one individual was asking about the carnivore diet and chronic kidney disease, and since I have stage 4 chronic kidney disease, that's kind of my forte. I did talk to him in the chat, but then Dr. Nelson said I should have raised my hand and actually spoke to the entire audience as a whole, and I'll keep that in mind for next time. Hello, Grammy G. I saw you on Homestead How, I believe, just yesterday.
I think
Was
so.
that Homestead How? Yeah, it was. Okay, yeah, on Carrie's live stream. Very similar to this. So you can click the link and join us on screen if you like. I'll be paying attention to those who are trying. So, all right. So, Meathead.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of fixing my dinner, but I'm here listening.
All right, fixing your dinner. That's okay. I kind of figured you were. We usually tend to start this when it's around dinner time for you. Yeah, all right.
Well, wife's been sick on and off all day, so that's why I'm running late.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we welcome Grammy G to the chat, and Papa Carnivore said, I was hoping you would raise your hand and discuss the improvements you've made with your CKD on carnivore. Yes, little micro improvements, but I'll take any improvements for sure. And we want to welcome Kitchen Witch. Thank you for joining us.
Ooh.
And Lisa. All right. And Papa Carnivore says hi also. All right.
Papa should join us on cam.
Yes, join us on cam. Instead of trying to, pull you over to the forum and click the link there, I actually posted it. And if you're unable to scroll up and see the link, just make a comment and I will post it again. If you would like to join us with your webcam on screen with Meathead and I, You just need a webcam, a little bit of courage. It's actually really good for, smaller YouTube channels, carnivore channels, to kind of, get a little experience being on camera. So this is a nice place to do it. All right. What you holding up there?
My tallow. That I made.
All right. Very good.
Ready to fry some eggs.
I made some too, but I wasn't patient, so I think I cooked it at too high of a heat, and it has like a burnt odor to it. So I think I'm going to try making it again.
Do it in a slow cooker.
Yeah, and this time being patient. All right. And we have Hey Peter, and I had a delicious pork loin with Malden's sea salt flakes and cold butter and a cold cocktail shrimp for dinner tonight. That sounds absolutely delicious. I will be eating once I'm off the air here. And we have another guest coming to the stage. Tom, how are you doing?
Good, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. So we know Tom. Tom's a member in our community. And back when we did Zooms on Monday nights, before we started doing lives, Tom had come in and talked to us during our Zoom meeting. So I'm glad you could join us tonight.
Yeah,
I've never met him.
How have you been?
Excellent. Still going strong. January 1st I started and haven't cheated once.
Awesome. Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah.
And so, you're 6 going on 7 months in.
Yeah. Yeah, it started at 209. I'm down to 159. I was at the doctor today for a skin check.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. How tall are you?
5'10".
5'10". Okay. Yeah. So that shows me that I can lose some more. So I went from 232 down to 175. Nice. Right now I'm hovering around 178, but I'm only 5'8". So
gotcha. Yep.
And I want to take off another probably 20. Mm-hmm. I think then I think really good. So I'm still technically slightly overweight. So
it's my understanding that your body will stop losing when it gets to that point where you should be, right?
Yeah, I intentionally stopped my weight loss in November of 2023 when I had a triglyceride scare, right, which is related to my kidney disease.
Yep.
And now that I've got that under control, now I want to lose more weight. So now that I know that it's nothing to fear. So
gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Lisa thinks what Papa Carnivore is making sounds good. And Papa Carnivore welcomes you, Tom.
Thank you very much.
And he finds your progress to be absolutely incredible.
I'm blown away. I'm amazed. I'm really happy.
All right. Very good. Okay. Well, we're going to bring up some questions here, and you'll have an opportunity to participate since you're here.
Okay.
Here's question number 1. It's very basic. This one wasn't submitted because this is kind of a no-brainer, but since this is a frequently asked questions about this, it makes sense that this would be the first question. What is the carnivore diet? So you've been on this for 6 months. So would you like to sum this up?
Sure. I'm just eating meat, eating a lot of chuck roll, and I'm eating 6 eggs a day, 3 with each meal. I'm eating twice a day. I try it for 10 o'clock in the morning and again at 4 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And so twice a day, and I feel great. I'm not hungry. I eat a lot of bacon, just all the good stuff.
Yep, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs.
That's it.
So yeah, in summary, the carnivore diet is eating exclusively animal products. And so that could be seafood, beef, pork, chicken, bison, turkey, bacon, eggs, and that could even include some dairy if you would like. So that's the gist of a carnivore diet. You're not going to eat any plants, and you're not going to eat any fruit, and you're not going to eat especially any seed oils and any processed American food that we often refer to as the standard American or standard Western diet. So no junk food. So the idea is we're going to eat natural from the animal kingdom. That's what a carnivore diet is. All right. Our second question is the carnivore diet safe? And so the answer to that is absolutely. And how do we know? Because we have probably millions of people who are doing a carnivore diet right now, and they are improving their blood markers, they're reversing disease. And then we have examples of certain pockets of human populations. There's the, what are the Eskimos called? I can't remember. I forgot.
Inuit.
The Inuit. Yes. The Inuit and some other tribes who, especially, we refer to them a lot because you can't grow anything up there. And they live basically on fish, whale, seal blubber, and very little vegetation, or sometimes none in some of those communities. And they thrive, and they're just fine. And oftentimes they do not get the chronic illnesses that we seem to suffer from here in the United States or elsewhere where you eat that Western diet. So yeah, the carnivore diet is 100% safe. And we'll go on to our next question, and then we'll go peek at the chat. What can you eat on the carnivore diet? We pretty much already touched on this, but you said that you're a fan of bacon.
I am.
Yeah. So bacon is good. There's no harm in bacon. You can eat all the bacon you want. Eggs. Usually that constitutes my breakfast. So my typical breakfast is I'll make eggs with a breakfast meat. And I usually make sausage actually over bacon just because it's a little faster and a little less messy. And I'm a big sausage fan too. So I'll have eggs and sausage in the morning. Every day I prepare my eggs a little differently. You could have over easy one day, scrambled the next day. You could have an omelet and sunny side up. And the reason I do that is obviously to break up the monotony, And then I use cheese as well with my eggs. And then that's usually my first meal. And then my second meal is dinner. I usually only eat 2 meals a day. And so for dinner, I will typically have a New York strip or some ground beef. I also like to do trout and scallops. So I like to indulge in some seafood. What would you say your staples are? Do you like to mix it up, or do you like to eat the same things? Are you a creature of habit?
I eat a lot of venison as well. So
come on,
burger, loin, neck roast, all that stuff. Really, like I said, a lot of chuck roll. I go to Costco and buy like either 40 or 60 pounds, depends if I get 2 or 3 packages, and cut it up and put it in the freezer and pull it out and put it in the crock pot and cook enough for a couple days at a time.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, what you making tonight, Meathead? Can you hear us?
Yeah. It's called shabu beef.
All right.
And my eggs.
Awesome. Yep. Looking good. Yeah. And yeah,
there's my big green bowl I always fill.
All right. Looks good. Yeah, and you can, I'll sometimes have eggs for dinner too. So yeah, I like a variety. So I try and eat the rainbow of meats, as it were. And
I'm on a egg fast diet, remember?
Yep. Yeah, and that's okay. And then some people, they do a version of the carnivore diet that they call the lion diet. And that is only ruminant meats, which is like beef and elk,
sheep,
goat, right? And then just drink water, and then the only seasoning they use is salt, if you want to even call that a seasoning. And there's reasons for why someone might do that, which we can get into later. So go back to the chat for a bit. Papa Carnivore says, I was over 300 pounds and a BMI of 40 with size 44 pants before carnivore. Now I'm size 34. That's what I am right now. Haven't worn that size since I was 19, and I'm 63. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a size 34 also. And in my adult life, at one point I could squeeze into 32s a little uncomfortably. I'd like to get there again. So yeah, that is indeed awesome. All right. And yeah, I am my post high school weight too. I was post high school. I was in 175. And then the first time I got fat and went on a diet, I did get down to about 162. So I know I can get down there a little lower.
I'll never reach my high school weight. Never.
Never say never.
Okay.
Unless you don't want to.
I set you up for that.
No.
I set you up for that because I have a picture with me of my graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And I even have, yes, it has the year.
Oh, wow.
I'll never reach that. That was 100. I was 130 pounds.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's you were really thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Most people, they still gain some, they gain some muscle and they get some weight, long after high school anyway. I don't think, especially us men, we're not fully developed really when we graduate. We don't stop developing till we're like in our 20s.
I still haven't grown up.
Let's see here. I could take a look at myself in the mirror and hid in the back when people took photos with me in them. Now I love looking in the mirror and taking photos. I can understand that. In fact, I go back, I look at some photos in the past, and I'm almost blown away that I used to be as big as I was. I always said I was the backdrop for the pictures, says Lisa. All right. And Papa Carnivore says that he loves seafood too. And Lisa is 110 pounds down. Nice. If I'm reading that right. That is great. Wonderful. All right. Lexus Jones, thank you for joining. It's nice to have you here. And
again, my apologies for all the noise.
Trying to catch up here. And Papa Carnivore's total loss has been 101 pounds. And he eats mostly beef, steaks, and ground beef, but also eat pork, chicken, duck, bacon, and eggs, and seafood, and lots of butter and tallow. Yeah, that pretty much sums up me too, and probably most of us on a carnivore diet. All right. Catlin says she doesn't want to be at her high school weight. She was actually bigger then. All right. I mean, that makes sense. So, yeah. All right. Lexa says her highest weight was 231. That's ties with me. I was 232. And now I've been maintaining at 165. Also, you're 10 points ahead of me. You're winning. I'm 175. Same as my high school weight as well. My lowest weight recently was 153. And she says she's 5'8", and so am I. Okay. All right. Very good. Kat was 290 at her heaviest. And Grammy asks, what does a person with CKD do about electrolytes? When I tried, my potassium spiked, so I stopped, and potassium went back to normal. Yeah, so people like you and me who have chronic kidney disease, we have to be very careful with our electrolytes. Now, I seem to be okay with salt. I can salt liberally, and my sodium never goes up on my blood work. So I don't have an issue with sodium. I take a magnesium supplement at night when I remember. So like I'll try and bring up I'll look it up and bring it up here in a moment. I don't take potassium for the same reason you don't. So I seem to hoard potassium. So, and then one of my blood pressure medications that my kidney doctor wants me on, because it's supposed to be good for kidneys, is called losartan potassium.
I stopped taking that.
So because of that prescription drug for my blood pressure, my potassium is always running a bit high, a little over 5. And so if I take an electrolyte that contains potassium, like Element T, Yeah, I love those. They're tasty, but whenever I take that, or if I take Keto Chow's Daily Minerals, my potassium just goes through the roof, and I can't have that. So, and neither can you. So I would say, take a magnesium if you feel the need, if you feel like you need electrolytes. I don't feel like I need electrolytes. Not anymore. I did in the beginning when I first started the diet. I definitely needed electrolytes. Let me move this window over here. I'll look it up. And it's on Amazon. And but now that I've been doing carnivore for 2 years, I don't feel like I need electrolytes anymore. So that's why I can easily forget to take my magnesium, and it doesn't bother me. But at the beginning, I needed to take this, and this is what I use here. It's called Zentastic Magnesium 4-in-1, and I'm going to share this screen with you. And I have to pick this screen here. Okay, this is it here. So yeah, this is Zentastic 4-in-1 Magnesium Complex. It comes with 120 capsules. I literally just take one. It's 60 milligrams. And when you look up magnesium, it says that like a male can take up to 400 and a female can take up to 320. But again, because if I did that, my magnesium would start to get high too, which I've had to happen. So I can't take that much. I just take one every day, and that's enough to get a little magnesium, because you do get magnesium in meat, by the way. But to meet your RDA, you would have to eat like 3 pounds of meat, and only people like Anthony Chafee and Sean Baker actually consume 3-4 pounds of meat a day. And meathead, thus the name meathead. All right. So forget the supplements that have the potassium in it. Just get yourself a bottle of that Zentastic Magnesium Complex, and then salt to taste, and take the magnesium, and then stay away from the potassium. That's probably your best bet. Or if your potassium runs low, then of course you could pop a potassium too, but it's not something you want to do regularly with the kidney condition. And I'm in the same boat, so I completely understand.
Can I share something real quick?
Sure.
While you're on supplements, I just brought these out. These are I take these over Dr. Berg's. These are the cleanest ones I could find.
So D3, K2, and magnesium.
Yes.
Well, all in one capsule. And D3 and K2 are actually good to take as well, especially if you don't get out in the sun a lot.
And a B complex by Nature Made. That's like it's got the least amount of crap in it. Now, I wanted to show you my natto. Can I share my natto?
Sure.
Real quick before I mix it up. This is you see the strings? Yeah, that's
stringy.
Yeah, it's because you have to get it stirred up, then it looks nasty.
Yeah, it does. It does look nasty.
Looks like a spider web.
Yeah. Looks like something my cat would leave for me once in a while.
But that's what I eat to help lower my blood pressure and get the added potassium. This has got this is the highest concentrated potassium that's natural.
Yeah. Yeah, and in case you haven't figured it out, so Meathead eats an exclusive carnivore diet plus the natto. So, and which is just fine. So we're not carnivore police, like he calls himself. we're not zealots. We're not super strict about like carnivore or else. If you're keto and ketovore, or animal based, that's fine. And in fact, you can join us on the screen too. We'd love to have you here. So
Yep.
we talk about a meat heavy carnivore centric diet, and if you would like to make little modifications to that and it works for you, that's great. That's going to be featured in more questions later on as well. And let me scroll up here. Oh yeah, okay, we got the electrolyte question, and so can you ask Meathead to mute his mic? The sounds are very annoying. So maybe it's just the cooking or
no, it was my vaping.
Okay. All right. Oh, the vaping. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds like he's scraping his barbecue. That's actually what I thought it was. Is like, you know, your utensils on your grill here.
Oh, earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Grammy G says she also eats Redmond's real salt. Very good. Yep. And take a magnesium supplement at bedtime also. I was also just prescribed losartan. So there you go. Between the three, salting your food, taking a magnesium at bedtime, and taking your losartan potassium, by doing all those, you're getting your electrolytes. So you're good to go. So you don't need any more potassium than what's in the losartan. And then you can probably salt to taste, just like I do. And then the magnesium supplement, 60 milligram pill, maybe 2, and but don't go to town with it. That should be enough to alleviate any cramps you might have if you're having them. And but as soon as you start getting that 320, 400, you know, you might find that your kidneys are gonna not excrete that as fast as they need to, and that'll start to build up. It's not very harmful though. So like if the maximum, if I remember right, the maximum is like 2 on a scale, and then you can actually double that and still not have any harmful effects. But you know, it's just it's not necessary to have that much. All right. Papa Carnivore says I was prescribed losartan too, but I will not take it. Yeah, so it's for high blood pressure and kidneys. So it's good to help keep the pressure down in the glomeruli of the kidneys. That's why he wants me on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm eating natto to get off of it.
Mm-hmm. And all right. Grammy says she also takes D3 and K2. So do I. I take mine separately though. And I have to take a lot of D3 to get mine up. And usually the amount that I take is dangerous for most people. In fact, it's comparable to Papa Carnivore's here. So 10,000 IU dosage. So yeah, I take 5,000 IUs twice a day. And my D3 never goes above 60. So they used to be down at 10. But when I started my carnivore diet and I started supplementing D3, and mine never goes above 60. Now, what's interesting is I have a friend who was taking 2,000 IUs a day, and his D3 went up to 120, and his doctor said, stop. You know, but he's healthy, and he works a lot out in the sun. So he was getting a lot of sun in the summers as well. And whereas me, I can take 10,000 IUs a day, which I would not recommend for most people. Usually I would say 5,000 at the most, and make sure you're getting your blood tested to see where you're at. And because you don't want vitamin D toxicity. But because of my kidney disease, I spill the proteins that the vitamin D would bind to. So,
I'm sorry, but have you listened to Dr. Berg?
I listen to him once in a while. I'm not a big fan.
Okay.
I like his information, and I liked it better. I liked his videos years ago when he had like a whiteboard and a marker, and then his more modern videos, I just think kind of get a little.
I'm talking about when he's talking.
They're more wordy and less direct. That's what I think.
Well, I'd say in the last year, when he was talking about minerals and vitamins you need, and he was talking about vitamin D. And he's not the only doctor that I've heard say this. 10,000 IU is nothing, but you know, everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not scared to take 20 or 30,000, but that's me.
Yeah. Now, if you took 20,000 like once a week, well, you'd probably be fine. You know, but I wouldn't take 20,000 a day, not without checking your vitamin D. periodically to make sure you're not becoming toxic.
I take that daily.
I can't read it. Back it up a little bit. Is it 10,000?
10K. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take it daily, and my vitamin D is low.
Okay. Yeah, that's the case. I remember the when I say my friend, he actually works for me, and like he was on 2,000 a day, and his vitamin D went through the roof. But like I said, he's healthy, and he does a lot of, when he's not working for me, he does a lot of work outside.
Cool.
Carnival Muscle is in the house. How you doing?
Hey.
Glad to have you join us. Also prescribed calcitriol 3 times a week. That is vitamin D, I believe, isn't it? Calcitriol? I think it is. I might have to Google that. All right. And then, yep, that's for the Losartan, is for the BP. Yeah. All right. I scroll through here so we don't have to bring every one of them on screen here. Papa Carnivore says, after 3 to 4 months on Carnivore, I had to stop taking all my BP meds because my BP got dangerously low. I've been off 3 BP meds for over 2 years. That's awesome. I would love for my BP to go low. And when I started my Carnivore Diet, it kind of did. Well, it did. So I was taking the Bivolol and the Losartan potassium, and that would just get it down to 140 over 90. And then when I did my Carnivore Diet and I initially lost my weight, my BP would, with the medications, would be down about 120 over 75, which is, ideal according to the standards that are out there. But then when my doctor put me on fenofibrate for triglycerides, that put me in deep into stage 5, and my BP went through the roof again. So I'm still trying to recover from the damage done from that. And so right now my BP runs high. And hopefully that'll go down in time. My vitamin D is 94. That's good. I think up to 110 is after that, then they start to get a little worried. So Kat says she had a gastric bypass, so she takes some supplements, K2 and D3, calcium citrate, magnesium, liver caps, and methylated folate and B12. I have no choice because of absorption issues. Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with supplementation. I know you often hear that on a carnivore diet, you don't need supplementation, and generally that's true, but if you have a situation like yours, or if you're concerned about, other vitamins and minerals that you might not be getting enough of, like magnesium, then let's go ahead and supplement. Lotto Retirement Strategist, thank you for joining us here tonight. I'm taking 80,000 IUs of D3 daily. I was taking something less and I got it to 141. I sometimes take a break. Okay, wow, that's a lot. But I'm surprised that it's not much more than 141. So that's an impressive amount to take. And then 141, I was listening to Dr. Ford Brewer and his assistant. They had a live the other day where they were talking about vitamin D3, and I think they said the max you ever want to see is actually the most would be like around 250, and after that you could be then your vitamin D could be so high that you're actually doing damage to some organs. All right. If you've had gastric bypass, supplements are necessary no matter what your diet. Yep. Papa Carnivore is absolutely right there. There's a lot. After researching the literature, I determined that 154 is the upper limit. Okay. A month ago, a doctor said 150 is the upper limit, so I feel validated. Okay. All right. Very good. Awesome. All right. I think I'm Dr. Barry's Labs book says vitamin D at 150 is perfectly fine. Mine is 94, and I take 10,000 a day. I take 5-mile walks in the sun. I've got the book too. What is it called? Common Sense Labs. I'd have to look it up. Oh. All right. And let me see here. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back to our questions. Where were we here? How does the carnivore diet work? And so this question kind of depends on why are you asking this question? So if you're asking this question about why does it help you, why does it work to lose weight? It's because it's low in carbohydrates. It's a ketogenic diet. And so when your body is in ketosis, you're burning fat for fuel, and that's the fat you consume as well as the fat that's around your waist and along your body. And and you keep your insulin levels low by keeping the sugar and the carbs out of your body. And that's good because when sugar and carbs enter your body and insulin spikes, insulin's job is to take those things, move it into the cells to try and use it up for energy. And in any excess, it's to convert it to fat and put it on your body. So by keeping the insulin levels low, that process doesn't happen. And Meathead, did you have your hand raised?
Just watch the chat.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't have the chat right now because I have the questions up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And now, if you're talking about how does the carnivore diet work to reverse disease, that comes down to plant toxins. So a lot of people's autoimmune diseases have to do with their intolerance towards certain plant toxins and anti-nutrients. And those could be things like lectins, they found in tomatoes. There could be oxalates found in spinach, and there's others as well. So all these plants, particularly vegetables, some fruits, but less so much in fruits, in their roots, their stems, their leaves, they have toxins because that's how they defend themselves. So like animals who can run away or maybe bite and scratch to defend themselves, plants can't do any of that. So they develop these toxins mostly for bugs and pests, but to deter them. But if we eat them chronically all the time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner over the course of years, they can start to have damaging effects on us. And that's actually the root cause of many chronic diseases. And that's why when people go on a carnivore diet and exclude those plant materials, their health improves and those diseases oftentimes go away. So that's how a carnivore diet works to lose weight. And that's also how a carnivore diet works to reverse disease.
I've got an observation for you on something I've noticed personally.
Sure.
Kind of gross, but I've fought athletes for years, constantly treating it, and since I started this diet, it's completely gone. No sign of it.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good too. I've had some skin irritations that I don't know if they were related to, I had tried to fix them with cortisone or antifungal creams and stuff like that. It would never resolve,
Mm-hmm.
or they would get a little, more tolerable, but never fully resolve. But I don't have any of those anymore, thanks to my carnivore diet. So, and that actually gets into our next question. And that is, what are the benefits of a carnivore diet? So this is a good opportunity to talk about how have you benefited from a carnivore diet? What improvements have you seen in your health? And have you reversed any diseases? It could be something as small as just more mental clarity, or it could be, something as big as, a major disease that you were told was incurable is gone. Any of you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
The majority of it's going to come out in my interview, but I think my biggest thing I've overcome is having more patience. That's all I can say.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Good. So your whole demeanor's improved.
Yeah.
By
a lot.
And that could be the nutrition that you get from a carnivore diet. is benefited, your emotions and your brain. So, and that makes a lot of sense because this diet's often used to treat those kind of, conditions that are serious. Not saying you had a psychological condition, but, but that's the kind of the field that we're talking about here. How about you, Tom?
Well, you mentioned mental clarity and that a definite improvement in that. There's no doubt at all. And that's the biggie. That's the biggest, as well as just I feel good. I have a lot of energy, constantly active all day, just I love it.
Yeah, I work in construction, and I remember taking a measurement or thinking I need to go get a certain tool, leaving the room, walking into the next room, and then just like, why am I here?
Sure.
What was I doing? Why did I come in here?
That's old age, Bob. We know that. That's
well, that's what they tell you. They tell you that's old age, but
you're not that old yet.
Yeah, I'm 49. I'm 49, and I tell you what, I thought I had one foot on the grave and the other one on a banana peel in my early to mid 40s. But now like I don't have that anymore. I can think clearly, and that's what I refer to as brain fog. When people talk about brain fog, that's what I think of when I think of brain fog.
Same here.
Yeah, and that's just one of my many benefits. So obviously there's the weight loss. I was having little micro improvements with my kidneys, no miracles, and of course that drug that my PCP gave me shot that. So hopefully I'll get that back on track. But I did reverse ulcerative colitis. I reversed prediabetes. All my boxes I used to tick for metabolic syndrome, I don't tick those boxes anymore. We have the brain fog. I used to have to pull over in a parking lot on my way home from work and take a nap because I couldn't make it all the way, even if it was just 45-minute drive. I kept, for some reason, midday. I was done. I even fell asleep and stopped traffic one time and rolled into the truck in front of me and had a little fender bender. But I don't have that. I don't have that tiredness anymore. Oh, let's see here. I used to have bleeding gums every time I brushed, and I don't have bleeding gums anymore. So that's resolved. And I used to have skin tags that would try to grow, and I would cut them off. But now they don't try to grow anymore. So those are the benefits that I've had. I've had quite a few, and when you make a list like that, then that's why you become committed. When you see these changes, that's why we say give it at least 90 days or more. When you see these changes and you feel great, there's nobody that's going to tell you that, oh, this is unhealthy. Like you're just going to be like, whatever, dude. And you resolve to do this forever, So like I'll eat this carnivore or carnivore-ish, carnivore-centric type diet for the rest of my life. I'll never go back to the standard American diet again. In fact, I've made a vow never to eat grains and refined sugar ever again. So it's a solemn promise to myself.
Yeah. People ask me when are you going to be off your diet? And I tell them it's a lifestyle now. It's not a diet,
Amen.
Yeah.
Right. And then the opposite of benefits are side effects. Are there side effects to the carnivore diet?
Yes.
Yes.
My bank account is getting bigger.
Your bank account is getting bigger.
Because I'm saving money on not buying so much junk. Yeah,
absolutely. That's a side effect. You're going to save money. Some people are like, oh, doesn't all that steak and meat is expensive? You don't have to go out and buy the most expensive cut and eat it every day. So you can treat yourself to that. Once a week, a couple times a week. Or if you can't afford it, you don't have to treat yourself to that at all. You can do this on just eggs and ground beef.
Just so everybody knows.
And even cheaper. Yeah.
So everybody knows that what you saw me just eat will last me until tomorrow evening, this time, maybe later.
Mm-hmm.
And no snacking in between. It's just water. That's it.
Yeah. So you have the meat, just eating a carnivore diet, the shopping is less because you're not buying all these snacks and condiments and all this other stuff.
No, it's not too much.
You know,
all these fillers.
All these fillers, you don't do that anymore. And then just like Meathead was saying, you know, a carnivore diet is satiating. And so you can oftentimes skip one meal or maybe skip 2 meals a day. So you're not eating as much anymore because what you eat nourishes your body and fills you up. And so you're not even inclined to eat. So that's a quote unquote side effect. Now, some actual side effects might happen if you've been eating the standard American diet and then you want to jump into a carnivore diet and you want to jump in cold turkey, as they say, or head first or feet first, all in and not do it gradually, then it's a little bit of a shock to your system. And so you might experience what we call the keto flu, and you'll have a period of time, maybe a couple weeks or so, where you might have what you think is constipation. It's not really constipation. It's just meat is well digested and you don't have to go as much as you used to. When you were eating junk and the body wanted to always get that out of it right away, you might have some diarrhea as your microbiome changes to adjust to your new diet. You might have some fatigue or lethargy because you're used to running on glucose. And once you use up all your glucose and glycogen stores, your body is still wanting those carbohydrates, and it has to get used to burning the fat and running on fat instead. So there is an adaptation phase, but it's worth pushing yourself through that, because once you've pushed yourself through that and you become fat adapted, then everything returns to normal. So your stools will be normal. And what was I going to say? Oh, you'll get the energy back, and you'll be able to, and you'll just return to feeling like you did before, except, in fact, you'll be probably feeling better as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got to go over here to the chat and see what's going on here. Oh, it's going to make me scroll all the way back up. All right. Alexa says, I feel fantastic. And she was on medical keto. All right. And you don't need K2, MK7 at that level. You can get 150 from the sun. But I do take taurine on top of calcium regulation of the calcium regulation pyramid, and rutin, which is a meta study, #1, moving calcium to the bones. I'll have to look that up. I'm going to write that down. I've never heard of rutin. That's a word that's new to me. All right. Let's see here. Watching a dude shoveling food in his face. Well, you know what? Come back every Monday. You'll see it again.
You know it.
All right. Let's see here.
I'm not bashful.
Rutin is also good for the valves and the legs, heals spider veins. So I know a lot of people that will like to hear that. Also good for people who had a heart attack. All right. And we got some comments about the toe fungus here. So reactive hypoglycemia symptoms include disorientation, severe sweating, heart palpitations from a quick drop in blood sugar triggered by a controlled diet. All right. Carnivore has improved my psychotic symptoms by about 60-70%. Yeah, and I mentioned that earlier. If you're on medication for like depression or other mental symptoms, this is definitely worth trying. And then to back that up, read the book called Brain Energy. And what's his name? Chris Palmer is the author. And there's a lot of scientific basis behind why this type of diet would benefit you tremendously. So definitely that goes under one of the benefits, definitely. I've heard of several stories of people curing long-term athlete's foot with carnivore. That's what you would say you had, right, Tom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I also have zero body odor and barely sweat anymore. Well, that's nice. I sweat like a pig. It's just me and my brother and my father, you know, and it's 99 degrees outside, and then I don't know. I never let it go long enough to know if I've got body odor or not. So I'm someone who likes to bathe regularly. So let's see here. Confident and can socialize with people and feel better. And I don't use toilet paper anymore for the most part. That's nuts, huh? So it's not necessarily nuts. Oftentimes there's nothing there. I still use it, but there will be nothing there. But I'm not willing to gamble to not use it at all just yet. Because that's not always true. So I don't want to leave it up to chance. I do like to check. I love that comment, though. Keep them coming. All right. Yeah. More mental clarity. And let's see here. All right. Here we go, Grammy. A little history about me. In 2020, my blood sugar was at 600, EGFR at 12. That is a lot of blood sugar. Put on the highest dosage of insulin 3 times a day. Came home, did research, and in 3 months off all insulin and not looking back. Awesome. That is great. So so would I be correct in saying you've been doing a keto or carnivore since 2020? That's good. That's awesome. All right. Bipolar depression, anxiety, and ADHD has been in remission for 2 years. Let's see here. Food freedom. That's actually, something worth mentioning too. Food freedom, because you're no longer a slave to all these things that you used to be addicted to. Yeah, food freedom. That's something I need to write down and also use that some more too, because I never think of that in terms of food freedom. I like that phrase. All right. This year I was diagnosed with Alport syndrome, CKD stage 5. So going full carnivore to hopefully keep me from having to have a kidney transplant. That's my goal too, is to avoid the transplant and dialysis. Now, of course, if it comes to that, I'll opt for them, but I'm going to try and do everything I can to delay and hopefully never have to go down that path. And I was as low as CKD stage 5 with an EGFR of 8 when I realized that drug that my PCP had prescribed me was killing me. And I'm off it. That EGFR has gone back to 13. My EGFR with statin C was 17. It's gone up to 24, which is the highest I've ever seen. And a lot of other markers like high potassium and phosphorus are coming down. So I'm on the mend. And then next month in July, I'm going to get a renal panel and visit my nephrologist again. So we'll see how much progress I've made.
Well, I don't know if it depends your kidney, if you ever need a kidney. My blood is AB positive. I found I found my medical records, and it's definitely AB positive.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I actually don't know what my blood type is. I'll have to figure that out. So
that offer's still open.
Yeah. Target Prime Rib Thomas is in the house. Hello, Tom. Feel free to join us. I know you're a member of the tribe, so you know where the link is. But I also posted it, by the way. So tonight we're doing something different. And if you would like to join us on screen, usually I say, come over to carnivoretalk.com and register, and you can find the link in our private members only area pinned at the top, and that's free. But I also posted it tonight when we started. And so if you can't scroll up and see it that way and you need me to post it again, just let me know. But we'd love to have you on the screen here if you're brave and have a webcam and would like to throw in your 2 cents as well and help us answer some of these frequently asked questions about a carnivore diet, which is our theme for tonight. So I just watched a 2019 documentary about obesity in America. It was depressing and showed the story of a guy who got 2/3 of his stomach removed. So sad. He was 300 pounds. That was my starting weight. Yeah. I still have to cut out the onions I add to my burgers and the teaspoon of honey I have with my coffee in the morning, though. I'm thinking I'll start with the onion. All right. Yeah. Let us know how it goes. All right. Everybody's welcoming Tom here. And I'm just about caught up here. Lexus has monk fruit sweetener. I like that. I also use allulose a bit. I'm just worried it will cause sugar cravings where honey doesn't. Not sure why it doesn't. I use a very small amount. And it depends what causes your cravings, you know. So like if it's just the taste of sweet things, maybe, you know, or, you know, maybe not, because like, you know, allulose is sweet, but I don't get any cravings from it. But I've been doing this for 2 years. So if I do have something sweet on occasion, I will have honey on occasion. Like, but when I say occasion, I mean super rare. But it doesn't send me on a bender. If it was my first year of carnivore, it would have probably done me in, and I'd gain all my weight back. But now I'm immune to these things, so which is really nice. Meathead, what were you gonna say?
No, I just waving hi.
Oh, okay, waving hi. All right. Okay. Let's see here.
I'll interrupt you if I need to get in.
Okay. All right. Okay. There's a lot of stuff here that we don't need to bring up on the screen. I'm just catching up on the chat. All right.
How many people are on?
Okay, well, I look over on YouTube on my phone and it says 1. That's not true. According to StreamYard, we have 20 viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Dr. Eve's book, she talks about one of her patients who suffered with schizophrenia and cured it with carnivore. Yeah, every time I mention Brain Energy by Dr. Palmer, a lot of people recommend Dr. Eve's book, which I haven't had a chance to listen to yet. I usually do audiobooks when I drive. And that's one that I need to get and listen to. All right. And Lex has been researching medical keto and carnivore for about 2 years now. Yeah, keto's been used in medicine now for over 100 years. All right.
Well, nobody brings up, everybody mentions Barry and Baker and Kills, and I don't hear anybody talk about Ben Azadi.
Oh, yeah, you know, that's true. I like Ben Azadi. He's got good content. Yeah.
Yes.
And he just came out with a new book too that is on my to get list. So yeah, he's good. He's pro carnivore. He's in the keto space, you know, but he's very pro carnivore too. Yeah. And that's good, because if you're pro keto, you should be pro carnivore, because they're like cousins, you know. So that's very good. All right. Okay, so I'm almost down to the bottom of the chat here. All right. Jiffy, thanks for joining us. Hey, better late than never. Glad you're here. And we have someone visiting us coming to the stage. We have Rick.
Woo! Hey, Rick.
Hey, welcome, Rick.
Hi, Rick.
You're right on time. You usually join us when we're 1 hour in. Yep.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, you probably got done with work and you had to take your bath with your rubber ducky, right? We know the drill.
Right. So. Oh yeah, I had to change a compressor in a high-end refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I saw you over on Kilts though, so that must have been in between. Must have been in between jobs.
That's right. I had to wait until they delivered the silly thing.
All right.
That's not the only delivery I got. I got a nice gift from one of our good friends.
Oh yeah, what'd you get? if I may ask?
A nice piece of meat and eggs.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, welcome Rick to the screen, and welcome Jiffy to the chat. And let me just, anybody else trying to join us on screen? Not that I can see. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you want to join us on screen, you can scroll up to the top, get the link, go to carnivoretalk.com, get the link. If you need me to post the link again, just say so, and I will, because we're being like a free for all tonight. So, all right, let's go back to our questions. Which ones did we leave off on? Now, let me actually, if I get rid of the comment, it'll probably let me know. There, that's the one. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. The timing couldn't be better. Our next question is, how long can someone be on a carnivore diet? Maybe Rick would like to answer this question.
Rick.
Well, let's just say in my case, since 1983. So you could be on this diet for your entire life.
All right. So that's 42 years. If we just, if we don't count it down to the, we don't know when you started, but 2025 minus 83 is 42 years. So yeah, you can be on the carnivore diet for life because it's safe and you get all the nutrition you need, especially if you eat a variety of meats. You're going to be just fine. So yeah. So, and how do we know? How do we know that you can get everything you need to survive? Well, because Rick's still here. That's how we know.
What do you typically eat in a day, Rick?
Well, I can tell you what I have today. Usually I'll have I usually have a pound of some kind of meat along with a few eggs for breakfast. And then for lunch, it's anywhere from 2 to 5 pounds of meat. 2 pounds of beef, 5 pounds of chicken legs, could be a nice iguana, could be, I don't know, part of a duck, whatever it is. And then for dinner, another 2 pounds of meat of any kind, usually
Holy
beef.
cow.
Yeah. Or it could be seafood. It doesn't matter. I don't discriminate when it comes to meats.
Very good. I don't either. But I'm still looking forward to someday trying some iguana.
I hope you do. I'll still see a lot of them out there. I was riding my bike today. I saw a whole bunch of them by the canal. So when I get my truck run, I'm going to get my crossbow. I'm going to take out some of those iguanas.
Last year, we went on vacation to Florida with the family, and we went to Sanibel Island and then up to Clearwater Beach. And down on Sanibel, we took these little nature trails, and yeah, we saw iguana all the time. We never saw any alligator. We heard there was a large alligator population, but we never saw alligator. But we saw iguanas, and they're pretty big. We saw iguanas everywhere.
They're a major problem. They're invasive, and they are taking over. So
where are you, Rick? Where are you?
I'm in Miami. I'm in the Westwood Lakes neighborhood. This neighborhood was being invaded by iguanas in a really bad way, but now you hardly ever see them anymore.
And why might that be?
I think far too many of them have come into my kitchen. I think that's the problem.
All right. Well, it's good that you're doing a good deed down there with iguana population control.
And the duck population. I've kept the Muscovy ducks in check for decades.
All right. Very good. You know what? Well, no, you can hunt ducks during duck hunting season, but if you just went outside and randomly got a duck, if someone saw you, they'd be pretty upset.
There's nothing they can do. Muscovy ducks are invasive. There is no season on them. You can get them whenever you want.
All right. And we're going to bring, looks like Thomas is trying to connect. I'm waiting for his image to show up. There it is. So we'll bring Thomas. So Thomas is known as Target Prime Rib.
Yes.
That's his YouTube channel, Target Prime Rib. So you can go check out his channel. Rick is Charger Mopar, all one word, Charger Mopar. So you can go check out his channel. And then both Thomas and Rick also host their own lives. So Thomas does one every day around lunchtime, Eastern Standard Time. And then Rick does one on Saturday mornings that starts in the morning and extends often way into the afternoon. So,
hey, Bob.
Yes.
I think Lexus wants to join.
Let's see here. Yeah, Alexis. So I can post the link for you. Hold on here. So how you doing, Thomas?
I'm doing good. Very good. Yeah, I can't complain.
Let's see if this works. Mm-hmm. All right. There you go, Alexis. I just shared the link again. It should be, well, it's waiting. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So yeah, you can click that link and join us. Normally, I'd say you have to be a CarnivoreTalk.com member, but tonight we're being a little more flexible.
Yeah. So, what made you change your mind from that?
Just I don't know. Just felt like it. So,
okay.
So
fair enough.
Fair enough. You know. So. Because you know what, if it becomes a problem, I can always change the link and go back to the old format. So yeah.
That's a good thing about you can always go back.
Yep. So for right now, that's just a security hurdle, and of course, if someone joins and they're a problem, I can quickly remove them, and then if it becomes like a habitual, then I'll just go back to the old method. So, welcome, Lexi. How you doing?
Good. Oh my gosh, this is my first live. I'm so excited.
All right, we're glad to have you here. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Do you have a YouTube channel, or are you just here watching?
I actually just started a YouTube channel. I posted my first video, I think, last week. It's so bad. It's so boring and I ramble a lot, but I did it. And the video is basically my day 9 of being on Carnivore and how that was going. But yeah, that's the only video that's up. But yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what? You got to start somewhere, and as time goes on, you'll get better at what to record and how to edit, and then that just comes with practice. So I used to vlog.
My sister after I posted it, my sister told me it's okay to be bad at things at first. So that's what I'm trying to keep in mind.
I used to vlog. I have another YouTube channel that's been dead since 2017. But when I first got my camera, which is the one I'm using as a webcam right now, actually, I would record my whole day. And then I'd have to go back and watch the whole thing over again and edit. And it was just so time consuming. Then I kind of learned over time, get the camera out only when I'm actually doing something worth recording. But I used to record everything because I didn't want to miss something, I'd hate to miss something. Oh man, I should have had the camera out. So it was so painstakingly to live your day and then turn around and rewatch it.
That could be good or that could be bad.
Yeah. All right. So you said you've been doing carnivore for 9 days?
Nope, today's day 15.
Day 15 now. Okay. All right. The video was at day 9. Okay, you're at day 15. You're day 15 now. Okay. All right. And how are you doing? Did you jump right in? Are you enduring any symptoms or are things going great?
Things are going wonderfully. I had been trying to do carnivore for about a month until I was finally able to stick to it starting, I think, June 10th of this month. And I've been able to stick to it since then. I'll put it in the chat, but I have schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia, and depression. It has dramatically gotten better. It's crazy. My symptoms are up and down. It's still the very beginning. Obviously, I'm not completely healed, but it's gotten a lot better. My delusions are a lot less, and when I do have them, I'm able to challenge them. My paranoia is significantly lower, and I put it in the chat too. Overall, the best part for me is just how confident I feel. Before starting carnivore, I would not have been able to do this. I wouldn't have even tried. So, and it's also made me really, carnivore has made me really chatty, and like I'm learning that I'm really not the best communicator. So it's like I'm talking and talking, but like I'm kind of going back and forth, and yeah, I'll learn.
All right. Well, very nice. Glad things are going well for you, and we encourage you to keep it up. All right. And then let's see here. So we're going to bring up the next question, and you'll be able to comment on this, I'm sure. These are all basic questions, by the way, tonight.
Hey,
So,
Lois.
how much should I eat on a carnivore diet? So, how much should you eat? So, people who ask this question, they're often probably coming from the old calories in, calories out background. That might be why they're concerned about that. Or they might be concerned that, is eating all that meat really that good for you?
Yeah, either way.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to who eats the most meat here, and again, I think that probably goes to Rick.
That's mind-boggling how much.
He is
that's amazing.
Yeah, Rick eats a lot more meat than I do per day. So how much meat per day do you eat? Would you say? I mean, I'm sure you don't measure everything, but if you were to guess,
4 to 6 pounds generally.
All right, 4 to 6 pounds. That is impressive. Okay, so yeah, you can eat a lot, and you know what? Your body adjusts for that. You got that much coming in, your metabolism goes up, and you burn it, and you don't gain weight on a carnivore diet. So yes, Lexi.
I think something that I've learned for me, like I live in a group home, and I'm very low income, so I'm not able to eat as much meat as I want, which sucks. Like I eat pretty small portions. I wish I could, like, steak and butter gang, they talk about priming. That's just not possible for me. And so like for me, typically I'll have like maybe a couple 3-ounce burger patties for lunch or maybe for dinner, and then my other meal will maybe be like a 2-egg omelet with some cheese and or like hard-boiled eggs. I also like brats. Like typically that's what I eat in a day. Otherwise, like, and like I'm also watching my ketones, so I just can't eat as much protein as I want. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay. And our carnivore diet, it doesn't necessarily have to be high protein. We're always looking for moderate protein, high fat.
High fat.
Yeah. Usually that'll be better for you because the protein is essential for tissue repair, tissue growth, the building of hormones and cholesterols and things like that. But the fat is going to be your source of energy. So
if I can interject,
sure.
The not so much. Don't worry about so much more about the meat intake as like if you can get your hands and eat as many eggs as you want, you can survive. Eggs are practically the perfect food.
Oh yeah.
It has everything in it.
Yep. I survived for 6 to 8 weeks eating 16 eggs a day.
And how did you feel doing that?
Oh, I felt great.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing off the walls with energy. I'm not joking.
No.
Yeah, so an egg fast is good, and and then you don't have to, it could be you can eat things like canned meats also as well. Go. They're okay, and they're fairly inexpensive, and then yeah, so it's as to how much you can eat. You mentioned priming, so I'm not super familiar with that. If I recall, I think the principle behind that is when you first start, you want to eat 3 meals a day, and you want to snack, and you want to just eat carnivore, basically trying to replenish all your deficient minerals and nutrients, and you might even gain weight a bit at first, and then
you do.
Yeah, and then
blood sugar goes up a little bit too.
What goes up?
The blood sugar.
Blood sugar goes up too. So I think the idea is to replenish all your missing nutrients, and then after you've primed for a couple of days, actually you're just going to lose your appetite, and then you go back to eating just 1, 2, or 3 meals a day. You can go down to intermittent fasting or OMAD if that's what you do. But I think that's the idea behind priming, and whether that helps certain individuals or not, I don't know. I never tried it. I hadn't heard of it when I started my carnivore diet, so I don't know if people find that beneficial or not. People must find it beneficial because they talk about it, So
I think some people do it just to get started on the carnivore diet, just because you have so many cravings in the beginning, and it's like you don't want to go into it with the diet mindset. Otherwise, like, you're gonna have a hard time sticking to it. So I think they tell you, like, eat as much meat as you want, as much carnivore foods as you want, at least for like the first maybe week or two, because then after that your cravings go down, your hunger goes down. So I think like that's one reason, like, in the past I wish I could prime, but like I'm doing great now. So I mean, my appetite's gone down, so
that would make sense. Yeah. So like when you start off, if you're all of a sudden you're having a craving for something you don't want to eat again, like bread, then you go eat some eggs or some beef jerky or a piece of meat, and then when you get hungry again, because you're used to being hungry all the time on the standard American diet, you go reach for that carnivore food. So, and that's what we do say that eat when you're hungry, So at the beginning you might find yourself those hunger signals going off more often just because you're used to sticking your hand in a bag of chips like every 2 hours, So yeah, that makes sense. Rick, surely before 42 years ago, you had those days where you had your hand in a bag of chips.
I used to hate. Do you remember the Frito Bandito?
No, I know what Fritos are, but not the Bandito.
Yeah.
They used to have a commercial. They had this character called the Frito Bandito, and he used to say, "I am Señor in the Frito Bandito, and I want your Fritos corn chips." It's very nice.
I think I know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh.
Then he would sing, I am the Frito Bandito. So every time my mother gave me Fritos corn chips, I wish the Frito Bandito would come and take them away from me because I hated those horrible things. And the potato chips, they had Lay's potato chips that says, bet you can't eat just one. And I thought, man, that's the easiest bet. I'll win that every time because I hate them nasty things. Then they came up with the Pringles potato chips. Those were so disgusting. They tasted like bread and potato chips smashed together, and they smelled awful. They were just disgusting. And the other, what's the other one? The nacho chips, the little triangular things. Yeah. Those were nasty too.
Doritos, yeah.
There's only one snack food that I liked, and I like to this day, and you probably know what it is. No?
Pork rinds.
Pork rinds.
Pork rinds.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have a weakness for pork rinds.
Yeah, I like pork rinds too. So
yeah, same here.
Yep, I eat pork rinds, and I
for that crunch,
I'm a little more liberal, so I'll even get the different flavored pork rinds. I'm not opposed to that either. So
heart attack chicken is just as crunchy. It's so good. I have heart attack chicken almost every day. I had it for lunch today. While I was working on that refrigerator, the one that I had to take tonight, I was soldering that thing. I was cooking my heart attack chicken. And then you saw me on the Kilts Live, and I kept leaving the camera. I would go outside because I was checking the vacuum pump, make sure it was taking refrigerant. But then I was thinking about what was for dinner. And for dinner, I had a heart attack burger. And that's a monster burger. It was 2 pounds. It's 4 1.5 pound patties. So it's 2 pounds of meat. That's my heart attack burger with cheese.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. Heart attack burger, heart attack chicken.
Yep.
My favorite name still is you last week when you said pacemaker pizza.
Oh, the pacemaker pizza.
I never heard that one before. That's cool.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, that was on last week's live.
A couple of years ago.
We might have been off air when you said pacemaker pizza. I don't know if you said that on air or if we were off air at the time, but that was hilarious.
I never heard of it.
Yeah.
I talked about it a lot in the past. It's the only pizza with no bread. The crust is made out of white meat chicken. eggs, and cheese, and it's deep fried in pure lard.
Oh.
Sounds very good.
Oh, so going back to this question, how much should I eat on a carnivore diet? Eat until you're full.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, don't count.
Let your
don't
body
count
tell you what
calories.
you're gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah, don't count calories. Don't portion control.
Don't eat like Rick.
Eat when you're hungry, and eat until you are comfortably full. Don't eat until you're like stuffed to the point where you want to.
Right.
You think you might die. You know,
You think it's gonna come right out.
you want to feel full. You don't want to feel stuffed like a pig. You know, so not like don't eat like it's Thanksgiving. You know, and when you're done, you lay on the couch and groan for a couple hours while you're at the football game. That's not what we mean. Eat until you're comfortably full, and only eat when you're hungry. And over time, that might start with 3 meals a day plus snacks. That priming thing we talked about, and then over time, you might find that you wake up and you're not even interested in breakfast. You don't eat till noon, and then you eat dinner. And then some people, they like Meathead here, he eats once a day. So, and if Geezy here, Jeff was here, he says the same thing. He eats on average once a day, sometimes twice. Yeah. So eat until you're full. Don't portion control. Don't calorie count. And then related to that is how often should I eat on a carnivore diet? We kind of just answered this, but go ahead, Lexi.
Sorry. Something I'd like to add to how much to eat is, for me, this might work better for some people, is like, instead of eating until you're full, eating until you're satisfied. And I've noticed if I eat meat to the point where I'm super full, not even super full, just full, I notice I over time start to develop a meat aversion, just because I'm eating so much of the meat. And maybe that's because I'm in the middle, in the beginning of carnivore, but yeah, if I'm eating until I'm full, then that's just for me, that's too much meat. And then over time, I'm not wanting to eat that again. Let's say burger patties. If I have 3 burger patties, then I'll be full. But then the next time I go to eat, I'm not going to want more burger patties. Does that make sense?
Right. So you kind of limit yourself.
Yeah. All right, going over to our chat here. Joining us from Facebook, Janet. Thanks for joining us in the chat. She says she sometimes adds cabbage, onions, and cucumbers, and that's fine. So that's did someone say?
Sorry, guys.
Oh.
Those are low carbohydrate.
Yeah, those are that fits in the keto spectrum, the low carb, and you know what? If you tolerate those, that's perfectly fine. So, I can personally eat anything, so I don't tend to eat vegetables very often, but I still do once in a while, and I never have any issues. But I've always been that way all my life. I could eat anything. And Thomas knows about priming, and she says Janet, going back to Janet, says I eat 1 meal a day and drink only water. That's awesome. I have this idea. It's like this ideal dream of eating 1 meal a day, but I'm still just intermittent fasting. I still have 2 meals a day. It'll either be breakfast or dinner, or it'll be lunch or brunch and dinner. So it's either 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. or it's noon and 7 p.m. So, all right, very good. Thanks for joining us in the chat. And then Kat says I eat about 8 to 10 ounces of meat twice a day, plus 3 to 4 eggs on average, plus a fatty coffee in the AM. So yeah, that's 20 ounces plus eggs. So you're almost 2 pounds of food. Yeah, that's very. I'm probably 2 pounds of food. If I was to measure it out, I'm probably 2 pounds of food.
Yeah.
I have something to say about on how much, or maybe how often you should eat. The other thing is, don't let anyone tell you there is a specific time, even with a circadian rhythm. If you work a night shift, it doesn't matter. You eat when you're hungry. Your body is smarter than anybody else. It will tell you when it doesn't need anything. It will tell you, hey, feed me.
Especially if you're eating, especially if you're eating a proper human diet.
Yes.
Because you learn to trust your satiety signals, and the hormones that tell you you're full or the hormones that tell you you're hungry, they become reliable. Unlike on a standard American diet, where those signals are whacked, they're scrambled,
cravings.
and so you're craving, and you can eat a big bowl of cereal for breakfast, leave for work, and then you got to stop at a convenience store on the way because you're hungry again, because your satiety signals are all messed up, and that's how we ended up sick and fat. So yeah, once you've been on a proper human diet, keto, ketovore, carnivore, and for some time, those satiety signals and those hunger signals, they become trustworthy, and then you want to listen to them. So yeah, good advice. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Eat when you're hungry.
Right.
Yeah, I've got to sign off, but I want to thank you for everything. Good
All right.
night.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Tom.
Yeah. Thanks for
We
having me.
appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Come back and join us again
I will.
on
Have a
another
good night.
Monday. All
Okay.
right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you guys okay with me vaping? I know one of you guys is vaping.
Meathead has a problem with vaping.
Oh.
I'm kidding. If you pay attention, he vapes regularly.
I
noticed that.
I have toned down since last week because somebody was complaining about my stuffing my face.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't want to be rude. So Bob,
if you want to vape, you can vape. I will just say that you would not believe how well the microphones pick that up. So just notice, like, when the next time Meathead hits that, like it sounds like he's got the microphone. It sounds like the microphone's in the vape, so
You hear it.
yeah. Sometimes that one wasn't so loud, but it has been in the past. And let's see here. Grammy decided to pop back in.
there you go.
All right. Yeah. Welcome back. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to vape, that's entirely up to you. I'll let you know if I think it's too, or someone in the chat will let you know if it's too distracting. Yeah. All right. So now we remove that comment. So we'll see what question we were on. And we can go to the next submitted question. What about fiber and vitamin C?
What about fiber?
All right. You're so eager. Go first.
I think Meathead wants to answer this.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I've been at Carnivore for a little over a year. I only supplement with vitamin D, K, magnesium, and potassium, and a vitamin B supplement. I don't partake of any fruits or vegetables, any grains, any sugars for 1 year. And let's see, I'm more regular now than I was before. Usually once, I usually average, it's once a day. Vitamin C, without the sugar, because this is what I've learned, is that your vitamin C, the receptors that they fight with sugar, and the less sugar you take in, the higher chances of your vitamin C getting taken in, and we get our vitamin C from the meat.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yeah. So
I still have all my teeth.
Yeah. So you've got these uptake receptors that would absorb the vitamin C, is the same receptor that uptakes the glucose from the sugar and the carbohydrates. And so when you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, then those receptors are preoccupied, and a lot of that vitamin C doesn't get taken up and passes right through you. And that's why they'll recommend that you supplement it, so you have more in you to potentially get taken up. But most of it's going in one end and not the other. So yeah, when you're not eating all those carbs and sugars and those uptake receptors that take up vitamin C, they can focus on the vitamin C. And then there is vitamin C in meat. I know they don't put it on the labels, but there is trace amounts of vitamin C in meat is just fine. And then if you're really concerned and you can tolerate some organs, there's lots of vitamin C in organs. And if you're concerned, you can take a vitamin C supplement. That's, again, there's no harm in that whatsoever. Yeah, and then the other side of that equation was fiber. And yeah, so fiber is just like carbohydrates. They're completely unnecessary. And I probably visit the bathroom.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Probably every other to every 3 days. And everything is completely normal. Yep. So yeah, I don't need any fiber either. So Lexi, go ahead.
I noticed for me, it's probably sharing a lot, but fiber makes me more constipated and makes my IBS worse. And I've noticed since cutting out fiber, like things are better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go into detail. I think it's probably kind of gross, but yeah, I just avoid fiber. It hurts my stomach, does all kinds of things. So yeah, I don't think you need it.
Yeah, you absolutely don't. And
that's great having a woman's perspective.
Mm-hmm. There's actually studies that you can look up, like on PubMed, of people who, they had issues with constipation, and then when they removed the fiber from their diet, then their stools returned to normal. So yeah, so that's absolutely true. Fiber can actually, cause problems in some people instead of what they, say that it's supposed to do, and that's supposed to like help you, move bowels even better. And so yeah, it's completely unnecessary. You will live.
Carnivore is a prime example.
Yeah, your gut microbiome, your gut microbiome will be just fine without the fiber. Yeah, it's unnecessary. Very
What's
good.
What's it supposed to do anyway?
Well, that's just it. See, it's indigestible. So all it does is go in one end and not the other. So you might as well be eating gravel or dirt.
Yeah. What is constipation?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, so human beings cannot break down fiber. That also is a key line of evidence that human beings are carnivore centric by nature, because all these herbivores, they are designed to actually process that fiber and break it down into short chain fatty acids, and we can't do that. So we don't have these long cecums to their little fiber factories working on it. It just, for us, it just goes in one end and out the other. And yeah, to sum up about the vitamin C, Kat has it right. Glucose competes for absorption of the vitamin C. Eliminate glucose, and the vitamin C in the meat is enough. Absolutely correct. All right.
I think Catlin should join us.
Yeah, she joined us a couple weeks ago. Come on, join the screen. Remember, we got room for 10. Right now we have 5 seats taken. I got 10 seats available, and so if you would like to join us, and I posted the link in the chat today, so you can scroll up and see the chat instead of going over to carnivoretalk.com and jumping over from there. And if you didn't see it, or you can't scroll up far enough to see it, and you want to join us, just let me know, and we will post the link for you. Again, you can join us right here on screen. Bob, hello, fellow Bob, says Kent Carnivore talked about in his talk about his colonoscopy. Yeah, he had ulcerative colitis as well, and he actually had his colon removed. So, and that was offered to me, but fortunately, I was able to reverse my ulcerative colitis. And Ragnar says, "What y'all talking about?" So we're answering frequently asked questions about the carnivore diet. Welcome to the chat. It's nice to have you here. And then I get that all the time.
Bob, you're too nice. You couldn't be Walter White.
I get that all the time, man. Even out in public when I'm at work or I stop in a store to get a drink or something, people make this reference to all the time. That's good. Yeah, it was funny. All right. So anyway, we nailed the question there about fiber and vitamin C. Let's go to can I have fruit and honey on a carnivore diet? So now this is a little tricky. If you do, it is not technically a carnivore diet anymore. Because remember our first question we let off, what is a carnivore diet? That is eating exclusively animal products. So that's the flesh and associated fat, all kinds of animal, and dairy. That includes some dairy. So fruit and honey, they don't come from animals in the sense of it's from the animal itself. Yeah, I get that bees make honey, but that's still a process that they're using plants from. So can you? I mean, you can do anything you want. So if you can eat some fruit and honey along with your meat-centric diet and thrive, that's entirely up to you. Some people will just find that they can't have fruit and honey because they were sugar addicted, and anything sweet makes them fall off the wagon. So that they can't have fruit or honey, or if they have some fruit or honey, next thing you know, they're going to be ordering pizza, they're going to be drinking beer, they're going to be going down for Mexican, having rice and beans, and they're going to gain all their weight back, and then all their symptoms that they were trying to cure are all going to come back. And so they can't have any. It's just like an alcoholic that can't have just one drop. Some people, they just can't have one fruit or not even some honey. But if that's not you, it doesn't cause any flare-ups of your symptoms. If your body can tolerate it, then if that's what you want to enjoy, by all means, enjoy it. We're not going to judge here. So, anybody want to comment on the fruit and honey?
Well, yeah. For diabetics, it's pretty bad because I learned. I didn't know this myself, but I learned from Nick that fruit actually doesn't show up on your glucose monitor.
That is a good point.
So, like you can get the fruit and you have no idea that it's actually hurting you. Well, it affects the liver, but it doesn't affect. So, but it doesn't mean it doesn't affect your blood sugar. It just doesn't show that it affects the blood sugar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. You don't measure it on your blood sugar. I don't think it impacts your A1C. And I see Jeff in the chat.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to pop in and say hi. I hope things went as well as they possibly could tonight. Our thoughts are with you and your family at this time. And so, yeah, Tom, that's a good point. Is if you're diabetic, you might want to be very careful with the amount of fruit, if any, that you might want to take in, because you could be doing damage to yourself and not even realizing it.
It doesn't blow. So
so because the fructose in fruit gets processed by the liver, so it's not like glucose that goes right into the bloodstream and taken up by the cells right away. That has to get processed by the liver.
Yep.
So you could be getting fatty liver, you could be harming your diabetes, and it's not showing up on your blood work, and so that could be big problems. And that's something that a lot of these people that are falling or going for this sugar diet craze, that's something that they need to be on the watch for. So
I'll be right back.
You could be really putting some damage to yourself. So now I'll occasionally have a piece of fruit once in a blue moon. Like my son's graduation was a couple weekends ago. We had a party for him. I was able to have some chicken and I ate some of the fruit, but that'll be the end of my fruit for probably a couple months until my apple trees are ripe. And then I'll actually probably have a few apples from my tree in the backyard. And I'll take that back. My cherry trees are ready. Yesterday I went out, but I only managed to find 5 cherries worth eating because they're all either rotting or burst by now. So I did pick a few of those, but I don't make a habit of it. So, I just have it once in a blue moon. So
I'll say for me, When I first started carnivore a couple weeks ago, I was having like a tablespoon of honey in my coffee. Now I've gotten down to a teaspoon. I've noticed like a teaspoon is fine for me. Like it doesn't impact me negatively. I've tested my ketones a few hours after having it, and they were fine. So was my glucose. But I was watching this podcast interview. I don't know if you guys have heard of Emily Penton, but she had MS, bipolar disorder. She healed it through carnivore. She was interviewing somebody, and they were talking about how someone told them there's a difference between doing carnivore 90% and doing it 100%, and how like once you do it 100%, it's like a night and day difference, and that's what's making me want to cut out the honey. I'm like, okay, I feel good on carnivore with honey. How good can I feel without the honey? And so I'm trying to work my way to that, but otherwise, so far, I feel fine.
Yeah, a lot of people have noticed that once they go all in, that it makes the difference. And even if they were just cheating a little bit, you know, if you want to call it cheating, you know, if they weren't 100% carnivore, you know, that they noticed that once they went all in, like that made a world of difference to them. And that could be, you know, and some people, they go from, you know, carnivore diet to lion diet, and that makes a world of difference for them, you know. So again, a lot of this is individual. You know, I'm a student of Dr. Berry, so I believe in what he calls the proper human diet spectrum, which could be 0 carb carnivore on one end, up to 100 grams of carbs, low carb veg on the other per day, and where you fit best on that spectrum is going to be very individual. You know, and your DNA has a lot to do with it. So where do you come from? What does the ancestry trace back to? If it traces back to populations around the equator, they were subject to more carbs and have a little more tolerance for them. But if your ancestry came back from more northern climates, agriculture wasn't a thing, and being closer to the carnivore scale is going to be better for you. So it's a very individual thing. And that's just another reason why we don't judge here, you know. So if you're a fruit and honey person, that's fine, you know. And if you're a ketovore, you know, that's fine too. We do think that everyone would benefit from a carnivore diet, a strict carnivore diet, but not everyone has to necessarily adopt a strict carnivore diet. So, all right. Yes, we all miss Jeff. We look forward to having you back. I'm glad it went well tonight. I see that there. Okay. That is good. All right. Is horse meat okay?
Yeah.
A few years ago, a big supermarket got caught selling horse meat and said it's beef. So lying is not okay, but horse meat is fine.
Yeah, the actual meat is good.
Kazakhstan, they eat it.
What's that?
In Kazakhstan, that's their primary protein.
Yeah. And then you know, I had a friend that went over to Italy, but right before he retired, his company sent him out there to start a factory and a branch over there, and he lived in an apartment down the street from an abattoir, where that's what they did, was process horse all day long, and it was really popular over in Italy too. So yeah, I would try it. I would have to probably do it discreetly, because over here in the United States, horses sacred. You know, so people over here, I think Burger King was suspected of selling horse meat, and people were losing their minds. People were losing their minds.
Medicated.
You know, because like here in the United States, like a horse is like a house, like your dog or your cat, a domestic animal or a pet. You know, it's just considered sacred, and so you got to be over here in the United States. You'd have to be very careful who you said you ate horse to. But over in Europe and other places in the world, yeah, people are like, dig in, dinner. You know.
So Bob, I got to get going. I haven't been asleep since 8 o'clock last night. So
Woo! You're over 24 hours.
Yeah.
Get some sleep.
Well, thanks for joining us, Tom. We appreciate having you here, and we look forward to having you join us again. Again, Tom's channel is called Target Prime Rib.
Yep.
And he does a live every day in the morning at 11, right?
Yeah.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. usually. I mean, it might change eventually, but yeah.
Yeah. So if you're home and want to participate in a chat in the morning, Target Prime Rib is where you want to go. So, all right. Thanks, Tom.
Yep. Thank you. I'll see you
Have
guys
Have a good
later.
night.
I should probably get going too. I took my melatonin at 8 and now I'm starting to feel it. But thanks for chatting with me, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining us, Lexi.
Thanks
And
for coming,
we
Lexi.
we hope you enjoyed it enough to come back again.
Join up
Of course.
Carnivore Talk.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's Lexus Jones 1126. But
All
the
right.
first video, like I said, is not good. If you want to watch it though,
See if I
go
can.
ahead.
Lexus is it all one word. Jones 1126. Let's see if a search will let me bring it up. There it is. Yeah, it was the first result.
Let me
Okay.
see. Oh, cool. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
All
I'll
right.
hopefully be making more videos soon, but I'm just after the first one, I'm a little nervous. I'm like,
All right.
it's really bad.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, go over and show Lexus some support and go subscribe to her channel. So thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time. All right. Yeah, and Bob says horse meat is just fine. If human meat was legal to eat, which race of people would you eat? I'm not going to even answer that. Grocery store chain and all right. Rest up, Buttercup. Bye, Lisa. All right, very good. So that wraps up. We're caught up on comments. I got to go disable that. Where were we here on questions? Oh, all right. Okay, and then there was 3. Can I drink coffee or tea?
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, do whatever you want. I mean, a lot of people can't give up their coffee. Most carnivores that were drinking coffee are still drinking coffee. Some of them give it up. So I gave up coffee because it triggered my ulcerative colitis. It does have toxins in it.
Mold.
Tea has oxalates in it. But if you're not sensitive to oxalates or those toxins, then drink up. So I have a cup of tea. 1 tea bag in a 16-ounce cup. I usually have that every morning, and that's all I drink now. But I used to be a pot a day drinker of coffee, and that tore me up. That actually after years of doing that actually impacted my health in negative ways. That was probably the source of my ulcerative colitis. So yeah, if you want to drink coffee or tea, that's fine. Our next one here is Ragnar. Let's see here. Looks like we have another one heading out. Have a good day, guys. I have to go. Thanks for the info. Thanks for joining us, Ragnar. And you have a good night or a good day, wherever you're tuning in from. Do I need to eat organ meats?
No.
Thumbs down. Yeah, no, you don't. So,
I mean, they're good for you, but you don't need them.
Yeah, and they're good for you actually in limited quantity,
Yeah.
So, if you were to go hunt, the organ is a very small part of the overall animal. And the organs of certain animals, can actually be toxic. They have, there's a lot of vitamin A and a lot of copper in liver. And so to have it once in a while is okay, or to have little small portions. Some people freeze it and cut it up into little pieces and just pop a cube every day like a pill because it is like it is like nature's multivitamin. But you don't want to eat pounds of liver a day or you're going to probably have health problems. So no, you do not need to eat organs at all. It's completely unnecessary. All you need to eat is basically the muscle meat and associated fat, primarily of ruminant animals. And then, of course, you can supplement that with a variety of other animals too: chicken, fish, seafood. And then you can, if you want to have an organ once in a while, that's okay. Someone trying to speak?
Duck.
Duck. Okay, yeah.
Duck, goose.
Duck, iguana, goose. Yeah.
Iguana.
Yeah. You ever have an iguana organ?
Yeah. I've had iguana hearts and livers.
All right. Yeah, very good. I've never had chicken liver. I've had some
Really?
beef liver. I've had beef liver, but I have had like turkey heart. I remember when we used to make the Thanksgiving turkey when I was a kid. I would eat the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's had chicken fries?
Chicken fries.
Chicken fries. Depends what you mean. Like, Burger King has something called chicken fries, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about rooster nuts.
Oh, no. I have not had testicles of any kind.
I've had duck nuts.
Oh.
Yeah, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're surprisingly big on a duck.
They must be tucked up inside.
They are, along
Okay.
with the weenie.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, no, I've never have. So, like I said, I've only ever had heart of a turkey and liver of beef.
What about gizzard?
I've never had a gizzard.
Intestine?
Oh, you know what? I've had beef tongue, but I don't think I've had intestine. And actually, the guy that works for me, there's this Korean restaurant in the next town over that he absolutely loves, or it might be Mexican, but they serve what's called menudo, which is actually cow intestine. Yeah. And he says that it is absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
And so I'm willing to try it. So he said he went in and ordered it, and they were like, "Really? What's a white guy like you wanting to eat menudo for?" But he says he absolutely loves it. He thinks it's great.
It's good for making sausage too.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we're cruising along here. Can you exercise on a carnivore diet?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you need to?
Do you need to? No. Can you? Yes. And I will say that what you might notice though is if you were used to load up on carbs and go exercise, then when you switch to a carnivore diet and you try and go exercise, you're going to notice a performance hit at first, and in fact, that's something that actually deters a lot of people is they go to try and work out and they can't do the weight, they can't do the reps that they were, but that comes back over time. So as you become fat adapted, you will be able to get back to that before. But it comes down to the fact that you're used to carb loading, used to running on glucose, and your body has to adapt. And once you become fat adapted, which is not an overnight thing, it can take your initial fat adaptation takes just a few weeks, but to become fully fat adapted could take 6 months to a year. But people who commit to the carnivore way of eating and become fat adapted, they actually get to the point where they are just fine in the gym, and they actually perform better than they used to when they were a big carb eater. And there's individuals who will fast for 5 days straight, and then they can hit the gym and run marathons, and they have all the energy they need. So you can do it, but you will notice at first you're just like you have the keto flu and you don't feel good and you have some fatigue and lethargy, your performance at the gym will take a hit initially, but it will come back. You just have to be patient.
Yep.
All right. Do any of you exercise, by the way?
Yeah. I will keep that private until my interview.
Okay. Yeah. So I go for walks. That's about it. I got some dumbbells that I'll lift once in a while, but I'm not super committed to it. I want to get a ruck vest and or a weighted vest or ruck pack. I want to add weight back to me when I go on my walks. So I have some exercise related goals. I have a treadmill that I bought. It's in the garage. I haven't brought it into the house yet because I want to make an exercise room. It's one of my projects that I keep putting off. So there are some things that I want to do exercise wise. Our next question is, can I eat a carnivore diet while pregnant?
I don't know.
And the answer to that is yes. So there are plenty of women who go through their entire pregnancy eating a carnivore diet. There's women who were on a carnivore diet before they got pregnant, There's women who started their carnivore diet during the course of pregnancy. It's absolutely just fine. You get all the nutrients you need from your carnivore diet. Again, especially if you eat a variety of meats, maybe even incorporate a little bit of organs. But yeah, no, there'll be enough in there, to nourish you and the baby. So yeah, there are, even on YouTube, there are people who will speak about their experiences being pregnant and doing a carnivore diet the entire time. All right, we might need to do this in 2 parts after all, because we're blazing through these now. How long does it take to see results?
Your call, Bob. I'm keeping this secret.
Yeah. Okay. That again varies per person. So some people, they see crazy results like right away. Like they start a carnivore diet and within days they're shedding pounds, they're feeling great. And that's not the case for most people. Most people do lose an initial amount of weight at first. A lot of that could be water weight, and because you're no longer eating carbohydrates. Hydrate, it's in the word. And so they drop a lot of weight at first, and that gives them the motivation to keep going, which is a good thing. And then there are others who they don't lose anything, not at first. And there could be a variety of reasons for that. One major one is that your body is focused on healing at first. So you're getting all these nutrients in, and your body is focused on healing, reversing disease. Sometimes there's body recomposition taking place. So you could be noticing that the pants are getting bigger, because you're shrinking, but the numbers on the scale is not changing. And there's some examples of, if Jeff was here, he likes to bring up Kelly Hogan, who actually gained weight at first and didn't start losing weight for 6 months. And for all those reasons that I just mentioned, so some people, that's what happens. We often notice also that because of hormonal reasons, men tend to lose weight faster than women. So hormonal reasons and for reasons of metabolism. So if you take a person with more muscle mass and they burn more energy than someone with less muscle mass. So that can be too. All right. Can I use olive oil on a carnivore diet? Yep. Meathead's giving the thumbs up. You absolutely can. So we do realize olive oil comes from a plant, but it is actually a good source of saturated fat. So it's not like a seed oil or a vegetable seed oil that goes through all this crazy industrial processing of extracting the oil and bleaching and adding the hexane and all this other stuff that the seed oils like corn oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, all those things you want to stay away from. Canola oil, bad, but olive oil is actually just pressed, comes from a fruit.
Coconut oil.
Yeah, coconut oil is also a good one.
Yep.
And so is avocado oil. So those are the 3 plant-based oils that are going to be just fine for you if you want to use them on your carnivore diet.
You just want to be careful. I'm sorry.
What's that?
You just want to be careful because they've marketed stuff as olive oil and virgin olive oil. It is not. It is mixed. It is 20% olive oil and the 80% is junk. You want to make sure it's got one source. It's not a product of 10 different countries. It could have come from 10 different places. You got to find the source.
That's a good point. There is olive oil out there that's fake olive oil or diluted with a vegetable oil and still marketed as olive oil.
Olive oil is not stable either because it's not saturated like coconut oil. Coconut oil is a very stable oil because it's from the tropics. Mm-hmm. And coconuts are designed to survive for months out at sea, baking in the sun and sitting on the ground before they can grow. But olives, when you squeeze them, basically it's like the clock goes off. The oil starts decomposing. So it has to be in a glass jar and it has to be kept out of the air. It's too much hassle. Plus, I hate the taste of olive oil. It's nasty.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I'd put olive oil on. Like if I'm going to cook, I'm just going to cook with butter. I'm going to cook with ghee.
Lard.
I'm going to cook with lard. I'm going to cook with tallow. You know, so like the only thing that I would put olive oil on is if I would do like oil and vinegar on a salad, and then I don't eat salads very often. So, I mean, what outside of that, what else do you use olive oil for? I mean, you could cook with it, but when you heat it though, then you run the risk of oxidizing it, and you know.
I do use it to season my pan, my cast iron.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good use for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, we're down to the last 4 questions here. All right. Who should not follow the carnivore diet?
Hardcore vegans.
Paul Saladino.
So you know, even they could follow the carnivore diet. So generally speaking, we think the carnivore diet works for everybody. So probably the only areas where you could see some cautionary statements would be if you have a serious case of familial hypercholesterolemia. There was an article, and again, when you get into the details, it's really the fault of the person who was eating this way. There was an article a couple months ago of a guy that was oozing cholesterol from his hands. Okay. And he had familial hypercholesterolemia for one, but then when you read the article, it said that he was eating 9 pounds of cheese a day. That's what we call doing the carnivore diet wrong. Okay. The carnivore diet is not the all you can eat cheese diet, you know. And so yes, he had a familiar hypocholesterolemia, but he was eating 9 pounds of cheese a day. Even if that's, and we're not even sure if that's true. You know, it was published in a medical journal, but who on earth can eat 9 pounds of cheese a day? I mean, I honestly.
Well, yeah. Wait, Bob. Wait. You're talking to somebody who can eat how many pounds of meat a day?
Well, but I think cheese sits different than meat. I just think, you know, do you eat 9 pounds of meat? Do you eat 9 pounds of meat a day? You know, Rick said says 5 or 6.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying is everybody's different. So you have to take that with some caution. You got to throw caution to the wind because it could be true. Because what's good for me may not be good for you, or may not be good for Rick.
And it certainly wasn't good for this individual because he had cholesterol oozing from his hands. So, yeah. So if he was really eating 9 pounds of cheese a day, that was part of his problem. So, yeah, the carnivore diet is not the, you know, eat pork rinds all the time diet. The carnivore diet is not the eat 9 pounds of cheese every day and that's it diet, you know. So the carnivore diet, the idea is to live like you were a human thousands of years ago, and you'd basically hunt for your food. So no one thousands of years ago was milking, churning, producing, and horking down 9 pounds of cheese a day. You know, so that's not what we call natural. That's not what I would even call a proper human diet. So another word of caution, and I say this even though I'm in this situation. So those who have pre-existing late-stage chronic kidney disease, the modern medical advice is that they should scale back the protein, that the protein will help accelerate their chronic kidney disease. Now, I'm not 100% sold on that. I've read some studies that say that that's not the case. And so I've been basically willing to gamble with my kidneys, and I've been on a carnivore diet for 2 years. And the carnivore diet has not been detrimental to my remaining kidney function, and I'm at stage 4. So, and I had one little hiccup when the doctor prescribed me a drug that did some damage to me, but I'm off of that and I'm now getting better. So I'm still at this point where I'm willing to put it to the test that may not be true. But even so, remember that the carnivore diet is not supposed to be a high protein diet anyway. The carnivore diet or a keto diet is supposed to be high fat, moderate protein, so don't fear protein. You need protein. But if you want to take it easy on your kidneys, don't fear the carnivore diet, but don't go to town on protein and then fear fat. That's not the way you want to do it anyway. Third to last question. Can I use seasonings on a carnivore diet? Yeah, go to town if they don't bother you. So
as long as they don't contain sugar.
Right. Yeah. So you want to make sure they don't contain sugar. And then, obviously most seasonings come from plants. You're just sprinkling a little bit on it. Is it going to be enough to cause a problem? Maybe for you it is. There are some people who they try seasonings and they can't tolerate them. But the grand majority of us can take advantage of seasonings and we're going to be just fine. So again, that kind of depends on your goals. If you're trying to reverse a disease and you're on a carnivore diet and your disease isn't fully resolving and you're still using seasonings, try cutting out the seasonings for 90 days and see if that doesn't help accelerate your healing. And if it doesn't, then you can go back to using the seasonings. But you might find that something in one of those seasonings could have been that last thing that you needed to remove from your diet in order to heal fully. So that kind of depends on the individual. Most people can probably use seasonings and get away with it. So do you guys use seasonings? I do.
Every now and then.
Nope.
Yeah.
I never use them.
Yeah. I got this stuff called Badia, and it's garlic and onion and salt, so I like to use that for some flavor on some of my meats.
I barely use salt.
And then I'll have a taco night where I use taco seasonings. We'll have like chili pepper and paprika and a mix of other things too to get that traditional taco type flavor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I still take advantage of it. Helps me with my variety because I do like variety. All right, second to last question. And let's see, we still have 17 viewers. The chat has died though. All right.
Rick?
Do I need to take supplements on the carnivore diet?
Rick?
What? I don't.
Well, you've been longest, so you should be your prime example.
That's true. I don't use supplements. My parents gave me a lot of vitamins when I was growing up, and I rebelled. I said, I'm not taking any. I don't think I've taken a vitamin in 40 years. So I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah. So the answer is no. You don't need to take supplements on a carnivore diet. On a well-crafted carnivore diet, you should be getting all the nutrients you possibly need to live a healthy life. Now, again, if you want to supplement, you can. Certain supplements, though, are just going to be an absolute waste. Because you're getting everything you need in the meat, and you're getting real vitamins and minerals in the meat too. So when you take a supplement, oftentimes that's going to be synthetic. And if you're getting what you need from the meat, then what you're taking in pill form, it's just going to get excreted because you don't need it. So a lot of times a multivitamin or certain supplements that you used to take, they're just a waste of money now because the food that you're eating is plenty nutrient rich to sustain you. And then our last question, is dairy okay on a carnivore diet?
I think that depends on the person. I use dairy, but a lot of people can't.
Yep. Yeah, and I use dairy too. So I basically, in the form of butter, ghee, and cheese. I do like my cheese. I use it as a condiment or garnish. I don't eat 9 pounds of it like that guy in the news a couple months ago. And I will occasionally have some raw milk and raw cream too. Or heavy whipping cream. I like to make carnivore ice cream. And so I use heavy whipping cream for that. So yeah, so I take advantage of dairy, and it doesn't give me any problems. But some people, they're sensitive to dairy. Some people can't drink milk because they're lactose intolerant. Some people, the milk or the cheese makes them crave food, and so they can't. And some people, the dairy actually stalls their weight loss. So yeah, just like Rick said, that's very individual. Can you? Yes. But if you find that you're not making the progress that you want, try cutting it out, and see if you don't fare better. All right. Okay. And we got through all the questions, which I didn't think we would at the beginning. That's all 21 questions. So very good. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, Rick, how many pounds was that brisket?
That's a good question. I got to look at it again. When I got it, I was over there soldering. I was cutting, getting parts together. I put it in the refrigerator. I shut the door, and I haven't even messed with it yet. But
cool.
It's a good size. I'll tell you that.
A lot of fat.
Making a video. There's a lot of fat on the outside of it.
Awesome.
I haven't cut into it yet, but I'm going to make a video when I cut into it. Hopefully tomorrow. I'll get that on the countertop, because I've done that before when I bought meat, and I made a video of cutting it up. Of course, the last time I had a big slab of meat, I ended up cooking some of that on the engine. But
there you go.
came out good.
I'm sorry you didn't get the eggs that I ordered.
It's okay. Got one set of eggs. I guess they ran out.
That just frustrates me. I put 6 on there, and they ended up coming with 1. So.
Did you try and ship eggs over to Rick? Is that what I'm getting?
I got Sam's Club, the business or whatever it is, because I like when I instead of me driving 10 miles, 12 miles to my Sam's, I order eggs, 10 or 8 to 10 cartons at a time, the 18 pasture raised. So I figure if I'm paying for it, they'll deliver it. I'll let them deliver it. And I called Rick today and I said, hey, so just because you need some sort of support for the work that you do, why not let me support you this way? And so I ordered him 108 eggs, 9 dozen. And I ordered him a brisket. And then they only had one option for express delivery, so he'd get it today, and we did it. And we were on the phone, but when he went and got it, he told me there was only one carton of eggs and not 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, what the heck happened? So I looked at my order, and they only had one carton. I don't know if they're limiting eggs again or not. It could be they're limiting 1 per customer. I don't know. But yeah, I just figured I'd try to support him and said that way I'm trying to kill Rick. I'm trying to give him a heart attack. Okay, you found out.
Feral Grandma is in the chat. Hello, Feral Grandma.
Hey,
glad you could join us. We're done with our 21 questions. And now we're just shooting the breeze. So, all right. Glad to have you here, though. All right. Okay. Lisa's still with us. Very good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here.
How's the weather up there in Ohio?
Hot, and I love it. I don't complain.
Yeah.
I don't complain. I hate winter and I hate snow.
Really?
So right now it's Today was 96 with a feels like temperature of like 105. I'm all about it. And I've got a pool in the backyard. And I mean, it was so hot. My pool was 78 degrees yesterday. It was 88 degrees today. Just from baking in the sun without a cover. So it's going to be like bath water now, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, I would have jumped in the pool today, except I had these lives to prepare for, So, but yeah, the rest of the week, I'm gonna be. I love coming home from work and just chilling on my pool. So that's what I'll be doing. Except for possibly tomorrow. So me and you might be doing something tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, I got to go to work in the morning. And what else am I doing? I gotta get one of my guys set up in Westlake. That's like an hour away. And then I got to go meet another client. That'll probably be right before noon. And then that'll be the end of what I need to do. So after lunch, I should have some time, unless for some reason something goes wrong. So,
well, that's good. I got on my brisket process today, so I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Oh, and then what was I doing Saturday? I was only able to pop in a couple times Saturday. Oh, I had estimates to do. That's what it was. So and I didn't see your. I keep saying, like, I don't see your number pinned, but then you always remind me that it's in the description. So
15. I only see 15.
Or
maybe I'm not looking right. I don't know.
Oh, so if you're in the StreamYard right now, it says 14.
Oh, 18 watching. Okay.
That's weird, because I see 14 on StreamYard, and then I look over here on YouTube, and it literally says 1. But I know.
No,
but I know that's not the case.
It says here, yeah, please hit the likes, people. It says it only started 26 minutes ago. Well, I know that's wrong.
I go view
hit the
my
like
channel.
button, people.
I go view my channel, and so it says 14 watching.
Okay, yeah. See, when you go to the chat, it shows 14. Now there's 15.
Yeah.
So
mine just says 1. Maybe that's because when I opened it up, this says 1. Maybe because when I opened it up, I was the only one in here, and it just never updates. That might be why. So, but yeah, but on StreamYard it says 14. We had some comments from Facebook today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was nice. And I do see some Facebook likes, and then I stream to Twitter too, but I haven't seen a Twitter comment come through yet. So I've thought about removing Twitter or X and using Instagram. I can stream up to 3 places at once, so I go ahead and just pick 3 places and just try and get it out there.
You should really stream to, what's that other one?
So this Instagram.
No, that's not it.
Yeah.
Let me see. What is it? What is that other?
TikTok.
Rumble.
Rumble. Yeah, Rumble. You should stream to Rumble.
I'll have to see if Rumble's an option. Yeah.
It is.
So
Old Carnivore does it.
Yeah, I've perused Rumble somewhat, and then there's another one too.
Odyssey.
Yeah. So I never heard of Odyssey till the other day, and then I looked up Odyssey, and it's very YouTube-ish, and I searched Carnivore Diet, and a bunch of Bart K videos came up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I don't know. So I don't know. Now, of course, they had significantly less views than you will see on a YouTube video, because obviously YouTube's the king, you know. So I don't know. If there's is there a sizable audience that watches Rumble and Odyssey but doesn't watch it on YouTube? You know, I don't know. Yeah, so I just figured, like, you know, Facebook, YouTube, and X were probably the big 3. So.
Okay, yeah, I don't do Facebook, so I don't really do social media. I try to keep a low profile.
Okay. All right. So we'll use this, and we'll have a different link, and then also have a different setting. So we'll have I'll have it set to where, like, each of us are recording video to our own device. So when we're done tomorrow, if we do this tomorrow, you'll want to stay connected with me after the recording's done, and it'll let your phone upload your footage so I can import yours and mine separately and do my editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So it works. Twitch, Rumble, it works, but only if you actually do it, is what Feral Grandma said. Is that a reference to one of these other video services?
Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah, because the old guy Carnivore, that's where he streams. He streams to YouTube and to Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And so does who is that controversial? He's English. Russell Brand. He does the same. Russell Brand.
Type StreamYard Rumble. Can I? Yes, Rumble supports streaming via RTMP. Okay, so you'd use the custom RTMP destination.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, Rumble. And then I was over there. I subscribed to Dr. Barry on Rumble. And this looks very YouTube-ish on a computer too.
Right.
See who's over here. Carnivore Diet search. And,
I think Dave Mack.
Dr. Baker.
Dr. Baker is, yeah.
There's Dr. Barry's Proper Human Diet.
Chappie.
No heart attack. No heart attack diet though.
Yeah, so here's a video from Dr. Barry. Women's Carnivore Diet results with Courtney Luna. 3.87K, so 3,870 views. I bet you the same video on YouTube has like hundreds of thousands.
Well, it's cross-platform.
Yeah. No, if there's, like I said, if there's a large enough audience here, you know, all I got to do is I got to create a Rumble account for Carnivore Talk and just start cross-posting over here.
Yeah. I've got an alternate ID for Rumble.
Oh, you know what? I already do.
There you go.
Hold on. Let me go to dashboard. So yeah, rumble.com/user/carnivore talk. Yeah. Okay. So I already do have the account. I forgot I signed this up. I thought I might've been under my personal name. Yeah. So I could just start uploading videos over here. Might as well, so put them up everywhere. Right.
Yeah. Feral Grandma's mentioned something about the cheese.
Let's see here. Cheese, being almost pure fat, gives you different signals in your digestion and metabolism. Yeah, that could be that. Well, that is, So, I handle cheese okay. I don't. Well, I mean, I don't know if I stall.
I have never been a fan of cheese. I don't like the texture. I don't like the smell.
Mm-hmm.
But since starting Carnivore, it's opened my palate to trying different forms, different types of cheese. Real cheese, not this fake processed junk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like pepper jack cheese. I get that at Sam's. It's pre-sliced. And my wife likes cheddar cheese, like shredded cheddar cheese. I'm like, but they also have this Mexican cheese. It's called Mexican quesadilla cheese, and I think it's the kind that they can melt down into the cheese sauce. So I bought a bag of that from Sam's Club, and that's really good. I put it on my omelet, and it's all stringy, and I'm loving it.
I like what is that? Provolone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing with the shredded cheese is usually there's an anti-caking agent in there, like potato starch, a little bit of potato starch or something, So
I just use a cheese grater.
So
there you go.
Yeah. You save money too if you do it that way. So you buy a block of cheese is a lot cheaper than one that's already. So, Bob says he does cheeses okay. He finds blue cheese agrees with him the best. So, I used to hate blue cheese. I used to hate blue cheese dressing. And but then I started getting these burgers with blue cheese particles in the burger. And then after eating those for a while, then now I like putting blue cheese on other things. I like also feta cheese. I'm a big feta cheese fan.
So that type of cheese, blue cheese and feta cheese, those are like really granular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heavily fermented.
Blue cheese on hamburger steak. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. So never got into the blue cheese habit. And
Take care, Grammy.
Grammy, yep. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming back. You have a good night. If it's night where you're at, it probably is. Most of the people here are in the United States, so it's 10:25 for me. And that's about where we're at. We usually quit about 10:30. We average 2.5 hours, almost like clockwork. So, yeah. All right. So yeah, I think I'm ready to call it.
Sounds good.
I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm actually not gonna have like dinner now. I'm gonna go down and graze a little bit because I don't want to eat dinner and go to bed on it. So, so I'm gonna go find something to graze on and probably fall asleep watching TV. I bet you my wife is already checked out for the night because she's used to this on Monday. So she knows Mondays. She knows Monday is my online day.
Boys party.
Boys party. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Lisa says, have a great night. Sleep
Take care,
tight.
Lisa.
You too. Thank you, everybody who's still in the chat watching, that you've made it this far, 2.5 hours in. I thank you for hanging with us this whole night. Remember, you can come over and talk to us throughout the week over at carnivoretalk.com. It's our forum. And we talk carnivore and share recipes and answer questions over there. Good night, Bob.
Good night, Bob.
Yeah, I see that too. And then or we'll see you in the chat here, or we'll just see you here on YouTube. Come back next Monday and hang with us again. Now, we'll usually by around Saturday, we come up with a topic that and we start advertising it. And then remember, if you want to be on screen, you have a good night too, Christopher. Thanks for joining us. And Butter's a good supplement. Yeah, if you want to join us on screen, remember, we can have up to 10 people on here. We had 5 tonight, I think is what was our max tonight. We've had as many as 6 at one time. So
we need a diversity though. We need at least 1 female, if not 2, on the panel. Really, I don't know, because we cannot really give any advice or any experience from a woman's perspective. And I think the women would be happier with some, come on, gals, just don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Get on here. We're not going to bite. You could give your point of view.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe Lexi will be back. And you know what? There's some I know on YouTube that I could reach out to and be like, hey, come hang out with us on a Monday night. And again, you don't have to hang out the whole 2.5 hours. You can be like Rick and pop in at 9 o'clock. You can pop in at 8:30, and you don't have to stick around the whole time either. Just come and go like a revolving door. So it's kind of like Bob's Bar. It's
like my live stream.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream. Good night, everybody. You too, if you want to keep talking, you just stay connected and we can chat a little more. But for the rest of you, have a good night. We'll see you next time. We're going to end the stream in 3, 2, 1.